you're definitely building a house so that you can stay in a place and you can actually grow in that place. So if you're building a house, your house starts from the ground up. Welcome, Anne. Good morning. Your house doesn't build from up down. Your house builds from the ground up, right? So when people are laying the foundation, they're laying the foundation from the bottom. You know how they say it started from the bottom, now we're here, right? That's exactly where people start. That's where I started. That's where you probably started. That's where people started. Nobody started at the top. Nobody got to the top from the top. Everyone got to the top from the bottom. When you're climbing a ladder, you're climbing the ladder from the bottom to the top. When you're climbing a mountain, when you're going up a hill, when you're doing anything, you're going to do it from the ground up. When you're a baby, you're crawling, right? You're crawling before you're able to walk, before you're able to run, right? So why are we thinking about starting from the top instead of starting from the bottom? That's why I decided I'm not going to do what everybody else is doing. I'll make sure I'm doing something completely different so that you can also learn the differences between starting from the bottom and starting from the top. Now, I have something to share with you today so that you can also see how you can also start from the bottom and also end up at the top. Now, I'm going to put a link in the chat. This link I'm about to put in the chat is for anyone here who is looking for an SEO 3-month service. SEO 3-month service at a discounted rate, because usually it's at 1,500 for 3 months, but we're going to be doing it at 1,000 only one time for the next 3 months. Why? Because this is a holiday season, and this is the time that you can also show up online and have the best experience, right? You can have the best experience online today if you're able to really get there and give people what they're looking for. So I've put the link in the chat for those who have any questions. And I'm also going to put the link to my business website at the very top. So if you have any questions, if you want to sign up, if you want to listen to the podcast, if you want to, fill in the form for an SEO service inquiry, please feel free to do that, because this is a time that a lot of people are looking for opportunities, to finish the year strong. So how are you going to finish the year strong if you don't finish the year with intention, right? And if you want to book a call with me, because I'm not going to talk about this till later on, I want to put this in the chat so that I can refer you guys back to it. If you have a question, you can put, you know, your information in the chat and I'll let you know, or you can even, make sure that you put in your details and I'll give you a call as soon as I see it on my end. Now, middle of funnel SEO strategies. And SEO stands for search engine optimization. And these days it's changing. Welcome to Clubhouse, David. I see you with the party hat. I always like to do this. Welcome to the marketing club. Welcome to Clubhouse. We are closing in on 349.9K members. We're going to be 350K members by Monday. That is my prediction, because we've been doing this for a long time, and it's going to be 4 years for me on Clubhouse next month on the 24th. So I've been doing this consistently, and I know a lot of people have been, here. They've been listening. They've been connecting. I see people going to listen to the replays. I see people going to connect and learn from those things. So I'm always getting notifications, right? I'm always getting information, and I want to make sure that you also have the right information that's going to help your business grow, right? If you can make your business grow right now, how are you going to grow in the future, right? There's so many things that we have to do. Like right now I'm in Maryland, right? I came from Houston and I'm here, till the next week. And I'm always in and out of the city because I love the space. I love the place. I love connecting with people. And in every connection that I make, or with every connection that I make sure that it's something impactful that's left, right? So if you're building your business, hey, Julie, welcome, and good morning, Kim. When you are thinking about the middle of funnel, just look at the emoji that I put in between strategies and four. It's an arrow up and an arrow down. Why is it an arrow up and an arrow down? Because it's the middle, right? When you're in the middle, you're in between two things. If let's say you're sitting in the middle of the back seat and there are people sitting next to you, you got somebody on your left, you got somebody on your right, right? So you're in the middle. You're pretty much stretched between those two fields, between those two ends. So if you're in the middle of the funnel, what is a major thing you want to do in this particular category, in this section? The major thing that you want to do, if you really want to get the best attraction, the best information, is by building relationships. Because when you build relationships in the middle of the funnel, you're becoming very comfortable with how you relate with the people that you're connecting with. Hey, Empress, you're connecting with these people in the middle of the funnel. In the middle. It's like when you're getting to the middle of the road, right? What are you going to do? Turn left, turn right, go straight, reverse? How are you going to move? That middle is the most important part, because if you're not in the middle, you're not part of that cycle. You're not part of that relationship flow. So if you want to have a middle of funnel for your website, there are some things that you need to have that are going to change the way you connect with people, right? Middle of funnel is a relationship builder. It's a huge relationship builder, because when you have a middle of funnel strategy, right? The middle of funnel is allowing you to secure relationships that allow you to build trust. And how do you build trust in the middle? By educating them. What are you educating them with? Content, value, prepositions. This is what's going up, this is what's going down, this is what you're creating. This is for, this is behind. You're giving them incentives, you're giving them things that they can actually feel comfortable connecting with you in the long run for. Because when you're building trust, trust is not built in a day. Rome was not built in a day. David, I was thinking about you this morning. So crazy that you're here. Thanks for joining. Rome was not built in a day. Businesses are not built in a day. Your favorite business, your favorite brand, your favorite coffee, your favorite anything, your favorite car was not built in a day. So don't rush the middle, because that middle is very critical. Before someone makes a decision, they have to consider your decision or your information as a decision to even consider. Does that make sense? Like, you have to create the impression that leads to the conversion. That's why we're going to talk about top of funnel on Monday, because I don't want to talk about top of funnel until Monday, so that you can use Thursday, Friday, and Monday to just think about where you are. Yesterday, we covered the bottom of the funnel. How do you make sure that people see you at the bottom of the funnel? How do you make sure that your business is even seen, right? In the middle of the funnel, there are different things you have to think about, right? In the middle of the funnel, here's where you do retargeting. One great platform for retargeting is Pinterest. That's a great platform for retargeting. Why? Because on Pinterest, there's something called actalikes. Just like on Facebook and Instagram, there's something called lookalikes. Would I rather want to, let me put it this way, would I rather want to be a lookalike or an actalike? Because if I look alike, we just look alike. That's it. We're twins, right? We just look the same. We may not act the same, but we look the same. But on Pinterest, we act alike, meaning that we have the same consumer behavior traits. We have the same attributes. We're into the same affinity. We're able to actually speak together. We're in unison. And we actually have something that's resounding, that's giving us that ability to thrive. So if you're thinking about the middle of the funnel, right? That middle of the funnel is a strategy that you have to apply by retargeting. So on Pinterest, how do you retarget? You retarget by two things. One, You can either upload your contacts, which you can also do with Meta. Upload your contacts, your CSV file, upload those contacts, and then put them into Pinterest. And then you create an actor like audience. So whoever acts like the audience you already have are the people you're going to connect with because they're resonating with you. If I've never met you before and we act alike, but we don't know we act alike, and then we come to an understanding that we actually act the same way, then I'm going to feel connected to you because now I feel like there's something to talk about. Oh, we like coffee. Oh, we like to go to the gym. Or we like bagels. Or we like pizza. We like lasagna. Or we don't like pasta. Or we don't like this or that, right? You're going to have some type of connection, right? And that connection is going to last a long time. So that retargeting is where that middle of funnel comes in, right? If you're thinking about middle of funnel too, you're thinking about contact forms, right? Contact forms are great for middle of funnels. We kind of underestimate this because we offer people guides, we offer people PDFs, we offer people white papers, we offer people listicles, all this great stuff, right? But guess what? If we want to really, 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 really connect with the audiences that we're connecting with, then their problem should become your problem too. You know, when you're a couple, you're together, whatever hurts you hurts me, your energy affects me, your energy rubs on me. That's the same way you should feel with the connections you're making online. If you feel like these people need help, you have compassion for them, right? Even Jesus had compassion for the people before he fed them, the 5,000, right? He had compassion first before he fed them with material stuff, with food. So if, and those are perishable products, right? So compassion is not perishable because it's something from within. It's a feeling. It's not a product, right? So if you have compassion for your audience, for your community, for the people that you serve, then that relationship you're building is going to be very intricate. It's going to be very important because if you don't think about the importance now, it's going to be detrimental in the future because the relationship you're trying to build now, if you didn't build that bridge now, how are you going to build that bridge then? Because a year or two later, they might be in a different position. They may not be on the same level as you, or you might not even be in the same level with them. They probably moved on, right? Welcome, Africa, as well, and welcome, Sarah. So you have to ask yourself, what is the middle of the funnel supposed to do for me? Sometimes we're like, oh, we talk about top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel. We throw those words like know, like, and trust. Like we throw those things like it's darts or it's just frisbees. No, we have to think about the relationships we're building. Because if you have a business website, then your business website, welcome, Leonard, your business website needs to be in a place that allows people to connect with you, right? There has to be a relationship you're building. If you click the link above, right, that's going to give you access to the company website. When you look at that, you're going to see home, services, SEO services, you're going to see podcast, and you're going to see news. So whichever one you pick, or if you scroll all the way down, you can leave your contact information and we can get in contact with you, right? Those four options are very important because whichever button that you click on is going to take you to that exact location, right? Whether it's a news, whether it's a podcast, whether it's an SEO service, or whether it's the homepage, right? And what you're expecting to get from this homepage or from this landing page is information that's going to determine whether I want to stay here or I want to leave right now, right? What's going to make you stay? It's a relationship that you're building. Not every relationship lasts forever. Some relationships are better off not being even a relationship to begin with. Some are great relationships because they last for decades. I have friends I've known since I was 8 years old, 10 years old. We're still friends today, 20 years plus later because of the relationships we're building, right? And you have the same things too. You have friends you've been with for years that know your secrets, that know your style, that know you inside out, These are things that you have to think about because people are trusting you with the information you're providing. If they don't trust you, they're not going to stay. They're going to unsubscribe. They're going to mark it as a spam. They're going to give you a bad review. They're going to do something that will make you know that they don't appreciate what you said or what you did. And you don't want that to come to that even point. If it ever does, then find a way to adjust those things so that you don't feel like you're in a rut, because you have to think about the relationships you're building for tomorrow. Welcome, Yasura. You have to think about the relationships you are building with people, because these relationships you are building are relationships that are going to last long or they're going to last short. It's either one or the other. It's either they're going to last long or they're going to last short. And I know you've never heard last short, but it's true, because it's either short or it's long. It's either one or it's zero. It's binary code, right? It's either this or that. So if you want to build a relationship with people online, how are you going to build this relationship SEO wise, search engine optimization wise? This is what we're going to do. With the middle of funnel relationship that you're building, right? You want to make sure that that contact form that you have acquired has a very simple process of understanding what your business is about and what your business can do for them. There's going to be a lot of work that will take you to actually create that expression, right? But you want to make sure too, as a business, that in marketing, you want to keep somebody at the top of mind. That's why it says top of funnel. Why is it top of funnel? Because it's top of mind. It's top of mind, like on top of your mind. Like if you look at your mind and then put something on top of it, whatever is on top of it is the person, the brand, the product, the service, the solution that you provided once upon a time that has become a top of mind at another time, outside the time that you actually spoke about it. So that's where marketing comes in, right? Marketing is not, oh, we're here today, we're here tomorrow. Marketing is we are around, we're available. Somebody might want to purchase today. Somebody might want to purchase next week. Someone might want to purchase next year, right? But at the end of the day, these are people who get to know about you. They may just want to know one thing you've done for the community, and that's all it takes. The opposite applies. You might just do one bad thing and your PR is stunted, and that stunts your growth. And now you can't even grow past that because you're at a status quo. And now it's pretty much impeding your progress, right? You don't want that to happen. So if you want to create a middle of funnel SEO strategy for your business website, because they're at the middle of the journey, thinking about what to buy, who to connect with, then you have to create content that's going to help. This is the key point here. You have to help your connections with content that's going to make them have better informed decisions. And I call that BID, better informed decisions. BID, right? BID, better informed decisions. So who has a higher bid? Is it me? Is it my competitor? Is it you? Or is it your competitor? Right? So the higher the bid, the higher the outtake, right? The higher the outcome. If you're at a show and someone is bidding on auction for a car, or bidding for jewelry or vintage or retros, something that is very, very classic or very sentimental to them, that bid is going to go high. Whoever's going to hit the highest price, someone's going to top it, right? That's top of mind, right? They're going to top it. They're going to top it. Before you know it, it's a done. So you have to think about your business the same way, because you have to think about including things like data sheets, comparison charts, case studies, reviews, right? These are things that will help you. And let me say this right now, because I'm going to dive into this a little bit deeper. One of the best middle of funnel strategies for SEO is this: podcasts. Podcast is the perfect way, either as a host or as a guest, to actually give people a reason to connect with you. Why? Because you're building a relationship. Relationships are between two or more people, right? You can have a relationship with yourself, 100%. You got to love yourself first before you love somebody. But the person that you're going to love on has to feel the same love that you have for yourself. So if you don't love yourself, how you expect someone to love you as much as they love themselves? Because you're not giving them the room for that. So that relationship is built on a podcast. With podcast, I call Club any social audio a podcast. Why? Because it's an audio blog. It consists of text. I'm speaking. We can actually you can actually turn on the captions right now as I'm speaking. If you click on the three dots at the very top and you scroll all the way down, you'll see show captions. So you're gonna even see my words pulling up on your screen because it's text. Then there's audio, right? Because audio is MP3. Audio is 1, 2, 3. It's ABC. It's what we talk about, right? It's those things that we know because we are able to connect because we hear things, right? There's audio, we can hear it. If you watch a movie, a blockbuster movie, without the audio, you're not going to watch that movie. Even though it's 8K, 4D, you know, whatever, 60 frames per second, if that video doesn't have an audio that is quality or Dolby, I can say Dolby Atmos audio or spatial audio or any type of professional audio equipment, you're not going to watch that movie. Or you might watch the movie with the captions on, but you're not going to have the full experience. Why? Because they have to make sense. It has to connect. So if you're thinking about middle of funnel, you're thinking about the middle of the relationship, the middle of the journey. At what point am I going to make a decision? Am I just going to make a decision today? Am I going to make a decision tomorrow? What is the decision I'm making today that's going to affect my tomorrow? Those are questions you have to think about, right? So if you're thinking about a podcast and you're doing a podcast, it's a great way to connect with people. It's a really, really great way to connect with people because you're not just using a sales funnel, because people call the tofu a sales funnel. It's not really a sales funnel, right? You can call it that. I call it a journey, right? Because somebody is coming from the top or they're coming from the bottom. That's what I mean. But they never get to the middle unless they know what's going on at the top or what they need from the bottom. Why? Because if you have a podcast, right? The podcast is going to help you give people tactical marketing advice, tactical experiences, tactical stories, tactical enablement to actually get people to understand what you're talking about, right? So if I'm in the middle of the funnel, it means at this point, I'm still working on building trust. The trust has not been built because I'm still in the consideration phase. I'm still thinking, should I date this person? Should I not? Should I marry this person? Should I buy from this person? Should I like this person? Should I, watch out for this person? Should I block this person? Should I think about this person? Should I even, does this person exist in my life? Right? Those are questions you're going to ask. So when you have a middle of funnel, you're working on building trust. That sale may come early, it may come late, it may come in the middle, but because you're making somebody consider you as an option, then that consideration becomes a really good thing for your business to thrive because you're not only thinking about yourself now, you're thinking about the people that you're connecting with. These people you're connecting with are people who are going to learn from you, right? When you send someone a message and you say, hey, this is this versus that. What do you think about this? Or do their response is going to be highly affected by the relationship that you built with them from the beginning, right? So if you're thinking about the middle of funnel, one of the great things you can do with middle of funnel is emails, right? Emails are great for middle of funnel. Podcasts are great for middle of funnel, right? These are the things that a lot of people kind of avoid. They avoid them because they feel like it's a lot of work and they feel like I gotta convince you. I have to keep talking. I have to keep building. Well, how are you gonna build if you don't start, right? And starting from the bottom to the top of wherever you want to go is highly focused on how you actually pay attention to the people that you want to help, right? If I'm sending you educational resources, if I'm sending you surveys, if I'm sending you discounts, if I'm sending you offers, like right now we have a discount. If you click the links, I put 2 links in the chat, you can see them there. Those are things that we do that make sure that you also know, hey, we're here to help, right? People are always waiting for that Black Friday sale, that Cyber Monday sale, that Christmas sale, that Valentine special. That's great. Please do, because we all need that. But before you even consider that option, the reason why it's top of mind is because you actually paid attention to the signs. Welcome, Yaz. You paid attention to the signpost. Those are things you have to think about. It's a relationship you're building here, right? It's a relationship. I'll give you an example. I had an interview with, there've been a lot. There's one I had this week, and it was very interesting. He's all the way in Canada because we have so many, people all over the world. So it's always exciting to connect with people on the podcast. And I always ask, where are you connected? Some people say Australia, some will say Poland, some will say Canada, some will say India, some will say South Africa. Like we've gone around the world. I always say I've traveled to more countries than I've visited, because traveling is, it's a trip. It's not a stay. It's not a vacation. It's a move. So I've been able to do that just by connecting with so many people. Thank God for podcasts, right? So if we're going to build a relationship, we have to build it this way. So I met this person from Canada, and his name is Nathan. And he pretty much he doesn't invest in real estate. That's what he said. He invests in the debt of real estate, which was a completely different angle, which I never knew that even existed. So we talked about it, and that when the episode is out, you'll be able to hear it. When was done speaking with him, I was like, hey, okay, we'd love to, connect with you. How'd you get to hear from us and this and that? And he was now talking about a podcast episode that he loved, right? Because he was like, okay, I love this episode. Another person came, he's in California. He's like, oh, I love this exact episode. There was an exact episode he mentioned. And I was like, oh, wow, you actually listened. Then even my client, uh, 2 days ago, was like, hey, Favour, I listened to your Pinterest AI podcast episode, and there's something that I got from what you said. So I'm like, oh, thank you. I, how am I going to know that you're listening? But the fact that you're even giving me feedback is enough evidence for me to know that I'm saying something that makes value to your day. I'm not taking value from your day, I'm adding value to your day. So when I hear those things happen, I'm very excited. I'm very happy. That makes me keep going. If somebody says, thank you, Favour, I'm very happy with that, because I know that that has helped you save time, money, energy, resource, connections, all the things that you could have been doing. Now you don't have to do them anymore because it's at your fingertips, right? So if you're building a middle of funnel SEO strategy, how do you do that? How do you really build? So with podcasts, this is where you want to do it. And I'm actually doing this right now for SEO services. So I'm telling you guys what I'm working on because I like to document my process. Because of SEO services for 2025, what I'm intending to do is to I have about 25 articles ready. 25. I have them ready to go. And those articles are specifically talking about SEO services, but those SEO services are being categorized and tabulated in between different categories. In other words, I have SEO services, on page SEO, SEO services, technical SEO, SEO services, keyword research. There are 25 of them. So by the time I'm publishing 25, that's almost half of a year, right? Because there are 52 weeks in a year. So if I'm doing 25, meaning that every week in 2025, one link, one episode, one blog, one newsletter, one episode, one email, one this, one that, one picture. Before you know it, 25 weeks in, you're leading up to the previous 24, because each of those one that you publish has to link back to at least 24 of them somehow. You can either do that through a category, page search, or through a tag. There's some ways you can do that. But my point here is you want to make somebody consider you as a person to go to, right? And if you're the person people are going to, then they will feel more comfortable working with you, connecting with you, talking to you, because they see you everywhere. They see you on LinkedIn, they see you on Clubhouse, they see you on Chatter, they see you in the inbox, they see you on Instagram, they see you on TikTok, they see you on Facebook, they see you on Google, they see you on Pinterest. Why will I not want to work with this person? Why? Because everything that they're saying is compliant. Everything that they're saying is the same. Everything they're saying is consistent. And everything they're saying is making sense, right? So if I'm trying to figure out who I want to work with, I'm going to figure that out based on the experience. I may not like you, but I like what you do. I may like you, but I don't like what you do. People have taste for different things. So you can't force someone to taste ice cream they don't like. It doesn't work like that. You have to give people the desire to even like what you're interested in. So if you're interested in something that's going to give someone something to actually participate or like or feel good about, then there's some things you have to think about as a business. You have to think about these things as a business. I know David will know this about Byword. So Jake is on LinkedIn. Jake Ward, really great guy. And he posted something today on LinkedIn about some AI images that have been updated to the Byword platform. And the great thing about this is that they are now photorealistic images. Before, they used to just be abstract, but he made two different updates at the same time. The company made two different updates within the same month. And I made a comment on LinkedIn, and he sent back a rocket emoji, right? So I'm thinking, okay, a rocket emoji has been sent, and that says a lot, to me, because you can decide not to even say anything. You might just like the post. You see, like David just gave a thumbs up. You can just do that, and that's about it. But for you to go on out of your way to respond, tag, and then post, it shows that there's an intention, there's a relationship you're building, right? And then someone sees that post, they're like, oh, I saw your post on LinkedIn about this. There's never been a time I go and connect with someone on LinkedIn and we don't have a really great friendship or relationship or even a connection to begin with, because you're reading what I'm posting, you're seeing what I'm talking about. It's consistent. It's marketing, 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 marketing. Some people want websites, some people want SEO, some people want Pinterest, some people want podcasts, some people want email marketing. Everyone wants something, and we can cater to that. Some people now want billboards, right? In fact, speaking of billboards, I've been seeing a lot of billboards on the good side and on the bad side, in the last 2 days. So it's just so crazy. I'll give you the example. So on the good side, Kajabi just released their new platform, right? They just launched, they did pretty much a whole rebrand, right? I was with Kajabi from 2020 to like 2023 before I moved to Learn Worlds. And it looks good. I like what they're doing. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to go back, but I like what they're doing. Now, there's someone that they featured on a billboard. They did about 8 billboards. Kajabi went on 8 billboards, I think between New York, San Francisco, LA, around those 3 places. And somebody posted it out there, and they're about 8 billboards, right? 8 billboards. Guys, 8 billboards. That's a lot of billboards, right? I actually want to go find the post because I liked it. So I want to actually show you where it is, and so that you can also see it and also ask yourself, okay, where am I showing up online? Do I need to be here? Is this something that I even need to be on in the first place? Those are questions that you want to find out, right? You want to figure out, okay, is this thing going to help me or is it going to break me? Is this thing going to help me or is it going to take me down. So you have to think about these things as a business, right? What are people considering you for? Are you even being considered in the first place? Are you someone to even consider in the first place? Like, those are questions that you want to answer, right? So if you're thinking about your business, right, and you want to get this business out there, you have to think about those things. So Kajabi did 8 billboards. I'm looking for this thing so that you guys can get the picture, right? And from there, I was like, oh wow, these are great billboards, right? These are great stunts. These are great things that people can actually, see you online for, right? Because you want to do that. In fact, I haven't found another one. What's his name? Brendan Burchard. Yeah, boom. I'm just gonna give you guys this one because this is another one I saw, but I'll show you the one that I'm talking about. Boom. So I put that in the chat. That link in the chat is going to show you the billboards that Kajabi are doing, right? Now, on the not so good side, Mr. Beast had a problem. I think it was yesterday because somebody impersonated his account. And for some reason, I'm not going to talk about it here because it's very sensitive, but I'm just going to put the link in the chat so you guys can see it. But for those who are listening, if you go to the Wall, WALL Instagram, just type in Wall, you're going to see the post about Mr. Beast. So you can be able to see it from there. I want to make sure that I'm very careful as well, so that everything is cool. So when you see that, right? When you see that, you want to ask yourself, okay, how am I going to be on these different platforms, right? How am I going to be on these completely different platforms at the same time? Now, it's up to you because you're building a relationship. Middle of funnel, high possibility is definitely a billboard too, because you're not making a decision on the billboard. You're considering the information you see on the billboard. You can see the billboard, you like the signpost, you like the information, you like what is being said, and you like what is being addressed to you, right? So if that is being addressed to you, then you're creating an address that is going to be used to find information about you, right? So my question to you is today, if you are thinking about building a relationship with your audience, what are you doing that is making them consider your business as the go-to business for the solution that you're providing based on the problem they're having? So podcast is great. Email is great, right? Retargeting is amazing too. Billboards are great for that purpose as well. So if you're thinking about the middle of the funnel, middle of the funnel is also another way of saying consider me, right? Consider me, because top of funnel are, other things we're going to talk about, very soon on Monday. But when you think about middle of funnel, you're thinking about so many things. You're thinking about how does this person actually want to connect with you, right? Things like white papers, right? Things like webinars, email drips, templates, especially templates. I was thinking about templates, and I'm going to talk about templates sometime soon, probably next week. I've never had a room on templates, but Flowdesk is doing so well with templates right now. And I want to talk about those templates so that you can see them. As a business, you have to think about the middle of funnel because that's a relationship you're building. You can't always have top of funnel, 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 right? Welcome to Clubhouse. Shade, thank you for being here. Thanks for being here. Whenever I see a party hat, I just want to welcome to Clubhouse. This is probably your first day or your first week. So thanks for being here and thanks for joining the marketing club. I can see you're already a member. So thanks for joining us today. You have to think about the relationship you are building. Building relationships are so important because you're welcome. Because you have to think about the person you're talking to. If I walked up to Empress now and told her something she didn't like, do you think she's gonna respond back in a good way or a bad way, or just, pretty much just say whatever, Favor? That could happen, because it's like, why did you even come from me in the first place, right? If I go to David and do the same thing, I'm burning a bridge, because I'm intentionally doing that to myself. But if you want to do the exact opposite and say, hey, Empress, I love your hair. I love what you're doing today. Hope you're okay. Did you have some food today? Those questions make them feel that like you care about their day. Have you had coffee yet? Have you had your bagels yet? Do you like cereal? Do you put the milk before the cereal before the milk? Like, do you brush your teeth with the opposite dominant hand? Like, you ask those questions because those are very important questions. What do you drink in the morning? Water, coffee, juice, milk, soda? Some people drink wine, beer, whatever it is. What do you drink first thing in the morning? If it's water, okay, what kind of water is it? Is it alkaline water? Is it Kangen water? Is it, what pH is it? What brand is it? Those are questions that start getting more and more complicated. If it's milk, okay, is it almond milk? Is it oat milk? Is it peanut milk? What kind of milk is it? So those questions become very, very specific, because you're describing a point of reference that your audience is going to resonate with, because you've been able to connect with them at a specific level. So on your business website, how you will know that you are actually in the middle of funnel is when you have articles on your website that have pages with a URL talking about exactly what you're comparing, because consideration is equivalent to comparison, right? Because if you're comparing something, you're considering one or the other option. So if you're comparing this car versus that car, this color versus that color, this dress versus that dress, you're thinking about where you're going to be. If I'm going to walk up to people, are they going to like this dress, or are they going to like this dress? If I smell like this, should I put on this cologne, or should I put that cologne? Should I put this perfume or that perfume? Right? Those are questions you're going to think about, because you want to know that you're actually letting people know, hey, I thought about wearing this today because I feel like this today. If I wear a t-shirt that says today is a good day and somebody wants to make my day a bad day, that t-shirt alone is going to make the person that wants to make my day a bad day think twice. Right? Because now I'm trying to tell you something without speaking, and you're trying to do something without telling me. That's going to cause a friction. So if I want to make sure that my connections are actually making sense, then the people I'm connecting with have to also connect with me. And if they're connecting with me, that means I'm also giving them light of day, right? So I want to help people get better in business. I want to help people get better at their craft. I want to help people get better at SEO. I want to help people understand how marketing works, how Pinterest works, how SEO works, right? These are questions that you have to ask yourself. Ask yourself these questions, because someone's going to type in something online. And if you're not the person that they're going to see, how are you going to be the person that they're going to work with or look at in the first place? If I don't know what you look like, how am I going to know how to address or describe your face? It's not going to work, right? If you have a brand, if you have a business, those are the things that people are going to be looking out for. So your business is really, really important, because you're thinking about the other person in the room. You're thinking about the people that you're connecting with. You're thinking about who is in the room that wants to actually learn from what I'm teaching, right? So those connections are very, very helpful. They're very helpful. Why are they helpful? Because they allow you to feel comfortable with the person you're connecting with. If I start talking to you to the point where we start laughing, cracking jokes, now you can actually start calling me silly names, because now we're so like alike that you can actually, play fight me, right? Because we're very cool with each other. Those are attributes that you want to also have, right? If you have a business, what is your business going to do for me that my business can do for itself if you were not part of that equation? That's a real question you got to answer, right? Because the way your business is going to feel at the end of the day is going to be based on how you are able to really connect with me, right? If my connections with you are really, really good, then it also means that I have something to offer that's really, really good, right? If I'm a business, I got to make sure that my business is doing well. It has to do well. It has to do well because I'm making sure that the connections are not off. They're not confusing. If I have to say something, I have to say something that makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. So you have to think about your business and think about where you are and where you need to be so that the person that is at the bottom or at the top can make you feel comfortable while you're in the middle. Yeah, because you have to think about what your business can do for other people in the middle of all these things that are going on. That's why I was saying earlier that a podcast is great for middle of funnel relationship. Case in point, perfect example. Look at the elections right now. Look at the political weather right now, if I can put it like that. If you see the two candidates, right, they're both on podcasts. They're either on somebody else's podcast or somebody's radio show or somebody's screen or someone's TV. That's middle of funnel. Before you decide who you want to vote for, that middle of funnel is so important because that's where you're going to consider the options. That's why they have debates, because those debates compare and contrast. It makes you know what is in your mind, what's on your mind. That's how Facebook started. What's on your mind? So when you're thinking about your middle of funnel, where are you spending the most time? Where are you spending the most time? Where are you spending the most time? Is it online? Is it offline? Is it, are you out of line? Are you in line? Right? Are you in the middle of it? Right? And you have to think about it from a very, 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 very intricate standpoint, because your business is going to either make or break based on how you're able to show up online, right? Those things are going to give you success metrics and success pointers, because you have to think about your business from a top of funnel to a bottom of funnel standpoint. So podcasts are doing well. People are listening to episodes. People are connecting with you online. People want to learn more about your business. People want to learn about how you actually want to show up online for them, right? These are the things that you have to think about as a business. So if you have a podcast, don't stop at episode 5. Don't stop at bulletin 4. Don't stop at verse 3 of a song. You have to keep going. You have to make another song. You have to create another book. You have to publish another article. And it sounds like it's a lot of work, but guess what? At the end of everything, you're building relationships with people that you know for sure are going to connect with you because you're building these relationships. It may not be something that may happen overnight, right? It may not be something that happens just on the fly, but it's something that's going to start happening for your business when you start thinking about the connections you're going to be making, right? When you start connecting with people, welcome, Monica. When you start connecting with people, those connections are going to give people a reason to connect back with you. So that relationship is something that you have to really consider. It's not something you just wake up in the morning and say, oh yeah, I'm just going to do, a white paper or a case study. The reason why you're doing a case study is so that you can let more people know about possibly your experience, your buyer experience. How do people even consider you as a person to go to? Those are major questions that you have to ask yourself. Welcome, Hidden. You have to ask yourself those questions. of the funnel, how does that middle affect you? If it's not affecting you, then fine. But you have to be in a position of power to really allow someone to connect with you from a long term perspective. It's not just about creating content, creating content, creating content. It's, is this content top, middle, or bottom? I said at the beginning, bottom of the funnel is great. But at the top of the funnel is where people get to start connecting with you. Thank you, Empress. You have to think about those things because sometimes we don't consider these things. We don't think about them too much. Not because it's not in our peripheral, but how do we even articulate what we want to say if we don't even know how to format it? Formatting is so important. SEO is big on structure. If you have a house that is, let's say, 5 centimeters off the grid, that's a bad thing because it's not on the grid, right? So if you have a business and you have a website, the site structure, the architectural type of business that you're creating has to be allowing people to connect with you. When you have a relationship with someone, you give them a hug, right? When you give somebody a hug, is a hug cold or is it warm? Right? It's a warm hug. And just like Hidden said, it's equivalent to warm traffic. You want to have warm hugs online, right? You want to have warm hugs online. You want to connect with people that say, hey, Favor, Empress, David, Hidden, Mark, Shade, Monica. Like you give them a hug because, oh my goodness, let's dab it up, right? Because we're cool, we're homies, you know? When you see people making those, hand gestures when they start celebrating, those are great things because those great things allow people to connect with you faster. So if it's warm traffic, they're going to be interested, but not quite ready to buy it because they still need a little bit more information. So I'll pass it to you, Hidden, because I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. And welcome, Candace. Good morning.
Hey, how everybody doing? I came in kind of in the middle, but yeah, it kind of makes sense once you think about it. When like you were saying, middle of funnel, so you kind of meeting in the middle. So they know of you, they know about you, but like you said, they need a little more uh information to go ahead and press the buy button, whatever it might be. But yeah, the middle of the funnel is just kind of more where you're doing a lot of more informational content to help the buyer or the end user reach their goal. So you're basically meeting in the middle of even though you're the bridge, you're still meeting them in the middle of the bridge because, like I said, they just need a little more information. So it's you know, kind of touch. I won't say touchy, but you kind of got the people where you want them. So you got to keep giving them the things that they're looking for. So that's gonna make you become more familiar with.
I love that. That is so true. You have to make them consider you. Like I could consider jumping off this cliff, God forbid, but somebody's going to think about that. They're going to consider that. If they don't do that, that's because they thought through the process. They're like, nope, I have a family, I have kids, I have a life. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to just waste my life that God gave me, right? That's somebody considering something. People consider so many things, right? You have about 7,000, is it 70 or 70,000? But there's a seven in there. There are a couple of zeros. Thoughts in your head per day. Out of all the thoughts you've had since you woke up this morning, how many of them have you applied? How many of you have, implemented them? And if they're even worth implementing, how do you structure the implementation process? He said nonstop. It's true because we're like a vicious machine. We just think, 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 think. We keep thinking, but are we doing what we're thinking? Do we act on what we think? Because when you act on what you think, then that means that the intention you've created is a result of what you've been processing. So you have to think about those things, especially for business websites. That's why I said business websites, because if you don't have a business website, then this may not apply. But if you have a business website, meaning that your website is actually getting you traffic, getting you leads, getting you considerations, that allows you to connect with people even further, right? A great thing with email marketing too, because it's a middle of funnel strategy, is also thinking about segmenting. That's a really, really important section for emails when you segment your emails. Because when you're segmenting your emails, you're segmenting your experiences, you're segmenting the information people are receiving, right? If I look, I've looked at my list, right? We have about 7,000 plus people in this amazing community. And out of these 7,000, right? I said, okay, let me find out and see who hasn't been, active, for more than a year, for more than 90 days on the list. And I see there's some people who on the list who have never opened the email all year, right? So, like for me right now, I'm looking at it, the people who haven't opened the email a year or more ago, we have about 609 people on the list. Now, I would send an email to just these 609 people telling them, right, that these exact, I'll say it like this: you haven't been online for a year. I'm going to kick you off. You got to respond back to this, or you got to let me know if you still want to be here. And you give them like some time because not everyone's going to see the email. You're going to give them like a 30-day window. That's a huge amount of grace because some people would give you 24 hours, right? But if you give people and tell people, hey, we still want you here, but if you're not active, we don't want you to be around here and we flood your inbox. We're actually doing you a favor by taking you off so that you don't have to get all these inboxes that you have to flush out that you're not interested in. Right. So out of 7,000 people, I know 600 people have not been on, they've not been active. The person that I'm seeing that hasn't been active the most, let me see. Yeah, February 15th, 2023. Actually, no, there's there's more. November 27, 2020. Actually, sorry. There we go. July 6th, 2020. That's the person that has not been online the most. I'm also seeing a June 16th, 2020. Like, I'm just looking at the numbers right now as I'm speaking to you. So, people 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, they haven't opened up these emails. Why? I don't know. Maybe life is lifing, right? But that doesn't mean that I can't still connect with them. Welcome, Manata. That means I still have to connect with them in some way, form, or fashion, right? So if I'm going to let them know, hey, y'all ain't here, they need nurturing, right? That you're right, and they need nurturing because now I can segment and just send an email just to them alone and ask them what are they here for. What I would even do is send them a quiz or a survey or some maybe a Google form, letting them know, asking them a few questions because someone might say, "Oh my goodness, I didn't even realize it," or someone may say, "Yeah, I didn't really want to be there," and they just didn't have a chance to take themselves off. You don't want to take somebody off unless you give them a chance to decide. Let them decide. Let them say, "I want to stay. I want to go." That's giving somebody the power to make a decision. So if you're thinking about middle of funnel, you have to ask these questions. You have to answer these questions. You have to put it in a way that makes sense for them, right? And if it makes sense to them, then eventually they can actually make sense out of it. It's a process. It's not something you just do. You have to think about what are they signing up for? Why are they even in the process of signing up? Do they sign up for something that you provide? Or are they signing up just because it's you, right? So you have to think about those things as well. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this too, Hidden, especially when it comes to, signing up and people having that nurturing sequence, because not everyone nurtures their audience. So how would you do that differently from others?
Um, Basically, like well, they got these different campaigns you can run, like an email campaign. But like you said, you can do it to where it's triggers to where, okay, if they even if it's video, if they watch a certain amount of the video, let's say I think it's like 3%, you can bump them into another sequence. But if they watch or read, they got like heat maps and stuff like as well, so you can see about pretty much how far they go down the page. So based on how much content that they took in, you can create your follow ups in that manner. So you know, usually they say if somebody read like halfway down the page and then leave, or that's when you come with like bounce rate and things of that nature. So I would say basically most people come in because you normally they're getting something free or what they call freemium. So most people sign up because they were getting something free. After that, most people start pitching or whatever it may be. But you can change it up by just giving little tips and stuff in the email, and you make it more personalized, like use their name, first name or whatever it may be, and then also I don't know if you like sometimes people do like little quizzes. If you take those quizzes, you can kind of get be more personalized toward the person that you're in contact with. So it's different ways to approach that. Uh, but like you said, I would mainly probably once I get somebody in, I'll probably automatically send them a follow up email within the next. Um, Actually, as soon as they sign up, you want to send an email like soon as possible, and then from there, like maybe the next day or the next 3 days, you will send them something valuable or some more free information that's going to pique their interest a little more and make you look like you're an authority figure, like you know what's going on.
Pronto. Nah, that's for real. And I appreciate you mentioning that because it makes a lot of sense when you are sharing information that people want to receive, and then they receive that information knowing that you're connecting with them based on topics you're discussing. It's a huge, huge thing. And I wanted to say welcome to you, Priscilla. Thanks for being here. Good morning. Glad to have you in the room. Vanshika, Abo, Ryan, and Shiva, thanks for joining. Please make sure that you guys click the link at the very top that says Marketing Club so you can be part of this club. We're almost 350,000 members here, and we have rooms almost on a daily basis. So please feel free to join us if you have time. Hidden, you said something that I want to touch on, especially when it comes to people signing up to your list and you sending them an email, right? If you've been sending emails for years and you've been building relationships for years, if I signed up to your email list today and you have an active subscriber that signed up to your email address maybe 2 years ago, the way that person is welcomed should feel the same as how it happened previously, or even better because they have better experiences now. You know what I said earlier? BID. I created something here in the room today called BID. BID stands for Better Informed Decisions. The higher the bid, the better the decision, right? The more information you give people, the better decision they can come up with. So when people are bidding for information, they're bidding online because they're looking for who says what best. Who is saying what best? So if you're at a church and you're a newcomer, they're going to welcome you for the first time. When you come a second and third time, you feel like you're welcome. Whoever else is going to come a year or two later is going to feel the same way because it's their first experience. So if you're doing the same thing at a business, if you're going to a gas station, a grocery store, a mall, and they say, welcome, how you feel, you're like, oh, wow, nobody told me welcome this morning. Nobody said good morning to me this morning. Not everybody has a happy birthday. So you don't take those things for granted, right? So when you give people a reason for them to come back, they feel special because you care about them. That's why personalization is so important. When you're sending an email, don't just say, hey there. They're like, who's there? Not me. You want to say, hey, fill in the blank, hey, first name, right? Because that first name is what makes you feel comfortable. Some people even start off with the name without even saying, hey. They'll just say favor, then boom, say what they have to say in the email. That way you're warming it up. We talked about warm hugs. You only give a warm hug to someone that you have a relationship with, someone that you actually like, someone that you care for, because it's warm. It's a body experience. It's a feeling. If it's a cold hug, you're going to shrug that thing. It's going to be like cold feet. It's not going to be cool. Someone's going to feel like this after they hug you. They'll be like, I don't want that. I'd rather have this because I feel like I'm actually connected. That's the difference. So you have to think about your business in a very different way than how other people are thinking about it, because you're not just going to create content for content's sake. That's why podcasts are huge. Podcasts are huge. I'll say it again. Podcasts are huge. Huge, 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 huge. I've never seen any other platform in the world that podcast can actually surpass, like in our digital age today, than podcasts. 100%. I was doing some research. I got to know that the podcast industry by 2032, God willing, is going to be as lucrative as 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 the fashion industry.
I don't mean to cut you off, but
Go ahead.
you, I know. Well, I know you probably heard of the new Google tool, Notebook LM.
Hmm.
That thing could turn anything into a podcast, even a PDF. It could turn into a podcast in like 3 minutes.
That is true. That is super, super, super true. I mean, you have to figure out how it works for you. And sometimes I feel like with the shiny objects, it gets too shiny to the point where you don't even want to look anymore. Right? It's like, oh, my eyes. You got to know what you want to look at, And if you're using like Notebook LM, for example, that's a great language model that will help your business grow because you're actually saving time, right? When you're saving time over time, you're giving time for that thing that you're spending time on. It's a time factor. It's a huge time factor. Why I love spending time on Clubhouse like this is because I know people want to listen, people want to learn, people want to grow, people want to understand concepts, people want to understand what's better for them, how does it work. They need accountability, they need a partner, they need someone that can actually show them the way. And if I'm not here, trust me, 100%, this house, if I was not running rooms in this house the way I'm running them, this house would have been dormant. Like it would have had cobwebs, would have had cars, a cowardly dog walk up in there. Like it would be so it would be so antique because it's not really active. It's an open house, but the house is not working. The house is not active. The house is not operating. When you think about an operating system, there has to be, yes, exactly, hidden consistency. It has to be there. That's what's going to make the middle of funnel work for you. Why is it working for you? Because every week of the year, you're showing up in one form or capacity. You're showing up either as an article, you're showing up as a newsletter, you're showing up as a podcast, you're showing up as a video, you're showing up as a white paper, you're showing up as a listicle, you're showing up as an infographic, you're showing up as a meme, you're showing up as, a guide, an FAQ, a glossary. I'm giving you guys hints. These are all things that you can achieve today, today, today. You can achieve these things today. The only difference that's going to stop you from achieving them is where your mindset is at and how you feel like relationships are going to be built based on this information that you already have. Right. So if you're building a business, the business has to be built by having website access, accessibility. I think the full name for access is accessibility. That's what I think. Go ahead.
No, you mentioned you mentioned glossary.
I said
That's one way.
glossary.
That's one way you can find untapped keywords. Is use just whatever industry you're in. Just type the industry and glossary. You can have all those words. Start ranking for them. Trying to rank for them, rather.
I did say glossary, and I'm glad you brought it back because when you type in glossary, like let's say medicine glossary, real estate glossary,
Exactly. Yeah, you
glossary,
will find
yeah.
so
Mm-hmm.
many untapped keywords. There's thousands of searches, and there's no competition for them, and people wouldn't even realize it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's like a backdoor method to find the keywords that people don't know.
Right. Right, exactly. And if you're able to discover those things and give people insights early, then people can feel comfortable connecting with you at a large scale. If I'm in the middle of the funnel and I've been listening to your podcast for years, I feel like I know you so well that I don't even need an introduction. because I feel like I've been here the whole time, right? You don't, that experience doesn't happen as much with blogs only. You can have blogs, people can read, but not everyone likes to read. Before, like when I was younger, I never liked reading. I didn't like reading at all. Like when it's time for library time, I'm literally like I'm just cringing because I don't want to be in that library. It's too quiet, it's too dull, it's too silent. Like I like noise. Like I want something in the background, right? And at that time, yeah, that was then. Now I love reading. I love research. I love history. I love looking at things. I love, analyzing, because I have a deeper knowledge for understanding things, and I actually appreciate the things that have happened because I'm able to learn from those mistakes and do better over time. So it's about research. That's why I love keyword research, and that's why I love SEO. Some people hate research, they detest it, right? But some people love it. Some people love to be just doing research all day, right? That's why there's a research and development department, because you can actually have a marketing department to support that arm and give you more subcategories to give you that result. David is asking, can you explain that again? Glossary keywords. Please explain that for David Hidden and for also other people in the room too.
Okay, so so basically, I looked at your profile real quick, David. It says you are a photographer. So all you would have to do is put photography glossary in Google, in a simple Google search, and all of those words, this might take you to a link that says photography or photographer glossary. Click on that link. It's going to show you all those words that's related to photography or a photographer. And you take all those words and you start trying to rank for them, making either blogs, but like something that just clicked to me that Favor was saying is about the podcast. So what you can do is, here's probably another little hack. You could take the people also ask questions. If you take those questions and name those as your podcast title, you're going to probably get some instant credibility. And then another hack with the people also ask, you drop the questions down, you pull it back up, it's gonna give you three more questions. You do that for each question, you're gonna have a list full of questions at the end. And you can use those as blog articles or podcast titles. You can also do your own keyword research using like age reps or something like that and checking those words. But I guarantee you're gonna find words there that people not even touching by using the glossary method. You can also
Hmm.
use alphabet soup as well. You can put photographer or photography and you just space bar A, B. You do it all the way down, and all those suggested words I would write down or whatever it might be, and then do a little more research on those words and see what the gauge, the search volume, and all of that.
That was a good one. Thank you so much for that. I when you said that, I went online to see, okay, what out there is doing that, and Wix actually killed it. Let me put the link in the chat for you, David. Let me see. I'm going to put this in the chat for you. Copy, paste. Thank God for Macs. You just copy from your MacBook, you paste it into the phone, the clipboard, and there you go. So it's pasting right now, or it double pasted. So let me take off one. Boom. All right, there you go. All right. So if you look at that website is from Wix. Wix did an A to Z photography term glossary in 2023, November 23rd to be exact. It's a 10-minute read, and they literally did a whole glossary on that from A to Z. So when you have something like that and you show up on the top of the list, that is a middle of funnel. That means you're educating me on something I didn't know. Like, for example, I didn't know there's something called I can't even say this word. I'm not even gonna say it. It's an X. It's Xiphiidae, and I didn't even know that was a word. It's the taxonomic family of the swordfish, whatever that means. You can Google that and also get more insights from there, right? That's glossary fillings because I'm like, I don't know what that word is. I don't know what this is. I don't know what that is. Yeah, Wix isn't even a photography company. There you go. That's what I talked about yesterday too. When I was giving you guys bottom of funnel examples like courses, when you type in course website builder, you get Zapier. Zapier gives you all the courses. Zapier gives you all the courses, and Zapier is not a course building platform. So, what do you say about your business that attributes to the success of what you're serving as a solution, right? And that solution can actually give you potential to actually thrive. So you have to think about those things. Yes, you can be a photography business and have that too, and then take them off first place. But if nobody is competing with them, they're going to be at the top. And that's been a year now, right? They are reverse engineering. That's right. Because you want to become a pro in that journey. You want to think about what people are connecting with. And do you know why? Do you know why Wix is actually at the top? Do you know why Wix is at the top? Go ahead, because I have the answer, but I want to know if somebody's going to get this.
Well, I was gonna say only thing
Mhm.
I was gonna let you answer that, but what I was saying is the way they're reverse engineering. Most people looking like they looking for photographers, but at the same time, they know a photographer is going to need a website. So they're not actually coming. They're not coming talking about here's a website or you need a website. They're using a different way to approach it. The photographers to get them to say, hey, transition your business or showcase your business through Wix, pretty much. So it's not they're not actually saying, oh, get a website. But what they're saying is they just like you said, they just planting seeds, so to speak, with photographers. So they know, if photographers start seeing these articles made by Wix, it's a good chance they might use Wix as their website builder. So it might not look like it's directly related, but it is related.
Do y'all see that? That was, thank you for that, Hidden, because I feel like the more contextual we can be with how we proceed and how we connect with people, the better it is for us. You may not have a website builder, you might have a photography. Like for you, David, I'm thinking, this just came to mind now. I'm thinking about an Airbnb glossary, right? Because you handle that very well, right? So you can have a glossary talking about those things. They find your company because you're a photography company, and then you're now taking photos of the Airbnbs. I kind of did what Hidden did. This was like a layup. So it's making sense, right? Look at your industry, look at the semantics, see what actually matches your style, your brand, your sound, and then match that up with information that people can actually access, which will now give you more access in the future to get more results. What are the eyes for Hidden? What's up? Let's talk.
Because you said the Airbnb glossary. If I say if nobody had that out there, that's like, well, that's you can do some things with that because you can get both sides of the fence. You can get people that actually have Airbnbs, and then also you can help the customer side. So you can help them pretty much learn the terms of Airbnbs or whatever it might be. But also you can just flip it at the end, what they call flip it. You just give them some helpful information, and then you can also, if you have Airbnbs, you can say, hey, if you like, within that same article, you say, hey, if you're interested in booking an Airbnb and blah blah, whatever such and such area, and I recommend this, that can just easily turn into like, you know, it might not work all the time, but I guarantee you probably you'll get bookings just by doing that.
Exactly.
Because you helping the end user.
Keyword is end. Yeah, because everybody is a user. That end user is a person that's going to end with you, end with your product, end with your brand, end with your material, right? And it's just a matter of time. You know, the reason why I was asking earlier what made Wix stand out so much is if you look at the link I put in the chat, you can see, and they did this so perfectly, and that's what I do. And they knocked it out the park because they know what they're doing. Some people don't know what they're doing, but I know what they did. If you look at that link, there we go, boom, the URL, the Uniform Resource Locator. Because if you type in glossary, if you type in photography glossary, you're also going to see photography terms.
It's
So,
the second.
you know what I'm
It's
saying?
the second. It's the second biggest ranking factor in search engines is the URL. So keep that in mind, guys. So your URL means a lot. Even though it don't, those big long ones, you really don't want those. But if you can put that keyword in that URL, bingo.
100%. Because Wix did photography dash terms dash glossary. That there was a reason why they did that. And that's why they're first place. Because second place was now photography dash terms dash glossary. Now, Petapixel copied Wix and they just updated their article in September 18, 2024. Now, this is very smart of them, but it's also very not so smart of them, because if I know that Wix has photography dash terms dash glossary, why am I going to do the same thing Wix did? Now you're going to wonder, okay, what else am I supposed to choose? That's going to be another question, right? For me, I'm going to be like, all right,
They just
I'm going to type.
replicate successful practices.
Exactly. What I would do is I'll take a page out of their book and go crazy. What will I do with that? Their title is From A to Z Photography Terms Glossary. What is a glossary from A to Z? So I will go, and this is for you, David. I would go and create an article, and that article would be A dash Z dash photography dash terms dash glossary. That might be a little longer, but that A to Z is a uniform resource locator that identifies the semantics of the keyword. Now, it may be a little longer, but it's way better. I won't say
Does
it's, you know what I'm
does it
saying?
does it trigger the? But it triggers the crawl bots to look for everything from A to Z.
That's awesome, guys. And Hidden and Favor, thank you so much. I'm sorry I hadn't come up here yet, just because I had, I'm doing a couple things, but with my computer and now driving and all that craziness. But uh, I'm listening away. Hidden. I mean, thank you. That was awesome. So and Favor, the same thing. The glossary, man, that's where it's at. I could already think of two glossaries pertaining with photography and Airbnb. Thank you so much. I guess the question is, whenever I looked over, and thank you for the link, also Favor. When I looked over the Wix link was really cool, except I saw that it's this those keywords for say or that glossary list. It's linkable and it's linkable to the actual definition of each keyword for say. And so what I'm saying is that it's all within that page. Now, can that be linked out to say Wikipedia or something else, or is it best to have it within that description or that definition within that same website? What are your thoughts on that?
Hmm. Hidden, do you want to go first?
I'm I'm trying to decipher how to explain it. What you can do is now. What you could do is, I'm trying to think about it because what you could do is, if on your website you can make a page for each term, or you can make articles with terms in it, like multiple terms on that page, and you can link those terms over to maybe that page. There's different ways you can do this though, but Yeah, I'm had to think about it a little more exactly how you asked the question.
Yeah, I guess my biggest thing is that I guess on my end, I need to figure out how to do that. I'm sure there's a word for it, Favor. I'm sure you know where you click on it and it takes you to that same page, but down, it scrolls down by itself and it gets you to that section. I'm not sure what's the name of it. I'm sure it takes
Hyperlink.
Anchor. Okay, there you go.
Uh,
Yeah, anchor links. Yeah, so I guess I need to figure out how to do those anchor links on my website. So whenever I create it, and I guess the other question was, is it best? And I'm listening to you, Hidden. Where is it best to have it on one website, or is it best to create other websites, like you mentioned, other sites uh, connecting with that description, right? On the other hand, and I know for sure it works that way. You got me thinking, and because I did something like this for a listing of locations, and they were just great, man. So for each page that I wanted to rank for, I created a page for every single one of them, and then I created like this directory of the cities onto one page. So if they're looking for that service, they can go to that page and they can click on any of these cities or different locations, and then that will get you for say in different parts of the surrounding city that I have, like in San Antonio, outside San Antonio, like Bernie or New Braunfels and such, even Austin, and it worked just amazing. So I'm thinking the same thing for this.
that I mean, that's the way you do it locally.
Hmm.
So it okay depend. Okay, so it depends. So say you have a physical location. So always remember, Google only going to show you only like 10 miles out from the your location. But always remember, it depends on where the person is searching from. The proximity matters as well. So it depends how you approaching it. If you approaching it on a national scale, it's different as opposed to locally. Nationally, you're gonna use a little bit different terminology, but local, like you do, you're doing it perfectly locally. You're using the surrounding areas and cities names and making pages. That's what's giving you. That's what's making you actually stand out to Google because you showing, yeah, I do this here, I do this here, I do this here in these areas. So you telling them. So basically, people have to understand Google is just a bot. It's not a person. So the algorithms read different than how we read. They read through a different, they read through computer systems. So the way you doing it is perfect. So like you say, if you want to reach people that's looking for a certain type of uh, something certain within photography, then yeah, you want to use those words because that's what they're going to be searching for. That's the whole key with the keyword research. Instead of you guessing, you getting in front of people that's actually looking for that that word or that phrase. That makes sense.
Well, I really appreciate that.
Hold on, I get in the car. Hello.
You gotta mute up so that we don't hear you.
No, I came on. I can't. I didn't take the call. So what? So
Oh,
did he hear me? I don't know if my phone was ringing because I don't know if he heard me. But if that makes sense to you, you would. So say if you're going on a national or a worldwide scale, you have to approach it be a little different. You want to approach it on a local on a local SEO approach. So yeah, I would make two different entities. Like you said, you have the other type of website you had. That's perfect to go for the worldwide or nationally. Don't try to use a local flair with that.
exactly. I'll be tactical with this too, David. There are 52 weeks in a year, and there are 26 letters in the alphabet. That's half the amount of weeks you have in a year. So if you have from A to Z week 1, you have the full page, the pillar page. Week 2 through I can say week 27, right? Because you've used the first week already, you would have individual from A to Z pages that is talking about, Airbnb glossary. I can say aperture explained, for example, because that's A. The next day, I can say for B, I can say, let's say burst rate, for example, right? The next one I can say, the next week, I can say composition. Explain composition. What is composition in photography? Explain that. So when you have the word explained, it is giving somebody the mindset that yes, I have a glossary, but I also have an explanation for the glossary. And you were asking about the anchor links. How do you create anchor links? You use hashtags. Hashtags are so underrated in SEO, but you can use hashtags because when you put a hashtag next to a link, the name or the view or even the URL changes because that anchor pretty much takes you to that specific section. And how you can know that too, David, is if you use your laptop and you, let's say, go to the Wix photography glossary and you hover over the examples they've given from A through Z, if you look at the bottom left, you're going to see a gray box. That little gray box is going to tell you where it is. You're going to see hashtag, viewer, dash, and you're going to see an alphanumeric, data point. So if you want to create that, then you want to make sure that you have individual pages for that one page because it's a cluster of a pillar. A pillar is one, a cluster is more than one. So if we have 26 letters in the alphabet and we've tackled from A through Z in half of the year, then that's all you're doing. Each of those posts are going back to the previous post. Then you're sending an email to people saying, hey, check this out, check this out, check this out, check this out. You're not telling them to buy anything. You're not telling them to do anything. You're just telling them to check it out. If they don't check it out, they ain't checking it out. If they're gonna check it out, they're gonna see what you're checking, or they'll check what you're saying, right? Or they'll check it off and say, "Okay, boom, I know what you're talking about." So you're explaining to them because it's a middle of funnel. It's a relationship builder. We're not trying to make you make a decision right now. We want you to consider the decision you're about to make. So when you do make that decision, the decision speaks for itself because you have information that allows you to actually justify the decision that you've made, right? You've done your research, you've asked your questions, you've evaluated, you've marginalized, you've done all the things that you need to do to make sure that you're creating that experience for that person. Then it creates that way. So I would say do it in that capacity. You can even use byword for that because they have a glossary now, and that's what I did for SEO. So I'm about to do an SEO. That's my goal next year, to do an SEO services glossary, because I feel like people have been quiet on the web and I'm like, I gotta wake it up now. So that's my goal.
I,
That's my 100% goal.
okay, I want to add to what you said too. Something I ain't even really think about. I don't know if you have any like keyword tools or you use Chrome. You use Chrome, you can put this Chrome extension called Surfer. It'll give you the search volume and the CPC of the word. So I just did the glossary, thing for photography. Like you said, astro for photography. I never heard of the word until today, just by putting the glossary method in. Astrophotography, the first word that they give me in the glossary, that word gets 12,100 searches a month alone.
Wow,
That word,
that's awesome.
and all you really need to do is just by me looking at the first page of Google. I don't know what space.com is. I don't know if you can write an article and get a backlink to them. I would try to write an article to them. I would write a Reddit. I'll go and answer this astrophotography question in Reddit. And also, what you can do is just look at the auto suggestion that they give you when you type in astrophotography. Now, auto suggestions I get, that's what's currently being searched for pretty much, and it says astrophotography with phone, astrophotography camera, settings, telescope. I would write all those down and go look up and write stuff related to that when I write an article about astrophotography.
That's amazing, guys. Thank you so much. By the way, Favor, I know we haven't connected lately. I just closed on my first Airbnb this week, so home. So I'm pretty excited
What?
about that. Yeah, remember I had been telling you about it.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm doubling down now, and so not only am I going to, it's kind of what I needed. It's like I'll do the photography, but I also have one of mine, and this is more stuff to talk about on the podcast that I'm creating. So I'm pretty excited, man. Thank you so much.
That's big, David. I'm so happy to hear this. I remember this time last year, we were about to get started with the SEO mastermind, and you had a lot of questions. So, if you look at last year, October, and this year, October, what can you say has changed, just for you based on how you interact? Because you've been doing this for 2 decades plus. So, how are you seeing a difference in this last year?
Well, in terms of growth, it's been amazing. Favor, I went from being a great photographer in the sense where it was a lot of word of mouth, and yeah, they would see my portfolio, but I think that this is exactly what I needed. This year has been literally a life changer for me. You and I have talked about what I've been through, and really, man, it's been amazing. I think I've always done great work for 2 decades or so, and but this is exactly what I needed right here to boost my presence, boost my images. You're just as if people don't know about you, you're just as good as you are now. I mean, you're never gonna reach other heights if you don't implement this kind of stuff, onto your business. You don't want to be the photographer that's just floating in the ocean of the internet, along with everyone else. Whenever you put yourself out there, you want to go. And so this has been an entire learning experience, and there's been so much growth personally and in my business. I'm just really excited to what's to come. Just continuing to learn and staying on top of everything. Um, I think at the end of the day, it's like what they say. Knowledge is power, and honestly, I have to say that thanks to you, Favor, and so many people and mentors, and that has helped me. I'm seeing you know everything from a different light. So just like right now, the anchor link, I knew there was such a thing. I couldn't name it, but and thank you guys again, because that serves me. And every little nugget, every every gold nugget that you guys give me, I take it in. I'm serious with this. I'm serious with everything that I've learned, and I just I'm very appreciative right now because it has changed my life entirely and my business. So I'm excited. I'm growing. So thanks again, guys.
That's so good to hear, man. David, I'm so happy because I remember when we first spoke, and it was just the beginning. It was like, huh, okay, where are we going with this? Is this really happening? Like, it was a lot of uncertainties, but you knew what you wanted to do. And now, a year later, you've been featured on, what's the name of this real estate company site? Redfin.
Yes, I've been featured in Redfin, twice. I've been I've gotten several recognitions. My Airbnb photography business, I've skyrocketed. I'm on top of search in many cities, not just in San Antonio, but in different locations, all the way up to Austin. even on the whole state of Texas. So I have just, I'm thrilled. I get calls. So there's some stuff that I'm having, turned down just because it's just crazy. As a matter of fact, I'm on my way to do one right now downtown San Antonio at the Jones and Rio Hotel apartments, and so just every day is like, you know, every day hustling. So yeah.
I love that. Thank you so much for that insight. No, I appreciate that. It's so much good things that are happening, and it's a matter of time. Sometimes it may take a long time, but eventually the time you spend and the time you invest, will be, shown, in its fulfillment when things are already done in a way that you can feel connected to when you are consistently showing up for the people you are providing information for. And that's what you've been doing, and it's just a matter of time. And I think the biggest thing I've seen here with SEO is not just like click and click and click. It's more so of, how do I show up with the most effective solution to the most desirable user to get the most effective result? That is usually the major question that most people tend to, figure out how to answer. Because when you're connecting with people, answering questions, people also ask. You hear that word people, that's more than one person. Also means that there are more than one question. There's more than one question. And ask and you shall receive, right? So if you ask information and you don't receive it, then there's something missing. There's a little of a hole in the water, right? Because I need to figure out how to get this information out of here to now get that result, to the next point. So if you're creating consistent content for people, then that consistency has to show up online. People have to really figure out, okay, are we really doing this for the sake of doing it? Or are we doing it because if somebody reads this information, they can feel better about how how they want to connect with you. If you're going to a restaurant or a hotel, or you're going to book something, the reason why you're booking it is because you feel comfortable with the example. You feel comfortable with the person that's connecting with you. I'll give you an example of reviews. Reviews could be middle of funnel or bottom of funnel, but I'll consider them middle because it's still a consideration phase. Yes. And I'll give you this example. This was what, 2 years ago? Yeah, this was about 2 years ago when went to Miami, and we were trying to find a hotel, right? And I went online to look for a hotel. I was like, which hotel would be good, to lodge in for like the next few days. And I went to, I think it was TripAdvisor, and I was looking at the different hotels. As I was looking at the different hotels, what did I notice? I noticed that there was a name of a person. I think his name was Carlos. Yeah, it has to be Carlos. Yeah, it was Carlos. Photographer. I have a photographic memory. His name is Carlos, yes. And his name kept popping up. And almost like after every three or four, reviews, I'm saying Carlos, Carlos. I'm like, who is Carlos? Okay. So I was like, I like what I'm hearing. I like what I'm reading. I like what I'm seeing. The hotel is perfect. It's right before the beach. It's like a perfect spot. Good pricing, good experience. Of course, you have to also review the hotel if you like the hotel. Then I went there. I actually picked that hotel. And getting there, I was like, who's Carlos? I went to front desk and I was like, who's Carlos? And then I finally found Carlos. And I was like, yo, I don't know if you know this, but you're all over the web. And why I'm here is because of you. So that alone makes someone, I don't know this. Carlos doesn't know Favor. Favor doesn't know Carlos. But because of a review, somebody now feels comfortable to talk to Carlos because Carlos has been experienced or talked to before. So you're creating the relationship between the two people that possibly never would have happened, but now can happen because of the experience that somebody else has had. So why am I bringing this example? When you're bringing relationships, when you're building relationships, when you're building connections with people, the connections that you're making are very important for the future of the relationship to thrive and also to survive. Because if it's surviving, it's thriving. And if it's thriving, there's excellence involved. So your strategies have to be big on all these fronts, whether it's an email you're sending, whether it's a review that you're giving, whether it is a podcast that you're, promoting. All those things have to be intentional. Like even the name of the title is intentional. If I renamed this title right now, instead of it being middle of funnel SEO strategies, and I called it MOFU, MOFU SEO strategy, some people will be like, what is that? I would have to explain it, especially for someone who doesn't know what MOFU is, right? But because I said middle of funnel, then you also know what MOFU is now because you can read through it. That's nurturing. If I just said MOFU, I'm kicking everybody out because if you don't know MOFU, you're not going to be in this room. But you want to learn about the middle of funnel, which makes more sense because it's contextual to what you're trying to get at. So the whole point of doing this consistently is so that you're not just writing. When you have a podcast title, think about the name because everything starts from the left. I'm left-handed, by the way. So everything starts from the left. So when you write from left to right, right, people are reading from left to right. When somebody's reading a text message, reading an email, reading an article, reading a book, they're reading most times, more often than not, they're reading from left to right. So if the words you're saying from the left are very important before they get to the right end of the page, you've been able to give them more information that allows them to be very comfortable, with you. So you have to create those experiences. You have to create those awareness campaigns. You have to create those consideration campaigns. You have to create those conversion campaigns. And you have to create campaigns that actually help people learn more about you and where you're going, right? Because these are things that you have to consider. Your business is a business because your business has community. Your community is standing because you have authority. When you have authority, you have something to say, and people can hear what you're saying, and they value what you're saying because what you're saying is making sense to them. If it wasn't making sense, they would not be here. They would not be listening because their time is valuable and they don't want you to waste their time. So if you don't want to waste anyone's time, how do you show up with information that's on time, on brand, and on point? Those have to make sense for you so that as a business, you're not just shooting blanks. You're not just, going about your day talking about this and that, and you're not really getting to the bottom of the discussion, right? I started off this room by saying when you're building a house, build from the bottom up. You don't build from the roof down, right? Because you're building a foundation, right? If you look at Kay's, profile at the bottom, you'll see that that's a barn. I see a barn. If you look at that house, right? The bottom is the foundation where the flowers are, the vases are, the pots are, it looks great. That's the foundation, right? If you look at that house, I'm being very specific today and being very literal with the example. If you hit on his profile, right, then you can be able to see, right, that house. You're going to see a chimney at the top. That's the top of the funnel. When you see a chimney with smoke at the top, you're like, oh, that's smoke. Okay. What is somebody cooking? What's going on? Is there a fire? When you hear there's a smoke, there's always a fire, right? When there's smoke, there's a fire. So that's top of funnel because I know that's what happens in real time, right? And you have to do those things and build as a business to figure out, okay, where am I going with this information? Who am I going to connect with? Why am I even connecting with this person? And if this person actually needs my time, then how much time can I give them so that they can feel comfortable over time? If somebody unsubscribes from your list, it means that their time has been exhausted. They feel like now they just can't work with you. They can't stand your emails, or they just can't, be part of that community anymore. Not because you said anything wrong, but maybe you're both not on the same level. You probably grew apart. But if you want to grow together, then that togetherness has to start from the bottom. When I say hi to you for the first time, 10 years later, we're besties, it's because the way I started that conversation from the bottom made sense. So now I'm top of mind because I remember how we started our conversation. If that makes sense. So bottom of funnel is so important because that's where decisions are made. But top of funnel is where concepts are created. That's the ideation phase. I'm trying to type in this versus that, this or this in place of that, or alternatives of fill in the blank. So you're creating more expressive content pieces that gives people more awareness and more residual processes to actually get you to that point of where you feel comfortable. So don't think about middle of funnel and ignore it, because sometimes people ignore the middle of the conversation, right? People want to get to the end of the movie, but they forget about the middle part of the movie that actually made the end what the end is. Hidden talked about the end user. The end user is the person that it ends with. End user means I bought this product and now it ends with me. I bought this and I bought this bike. Now I have this bike. I'm the end user because I'm using it to meet a certain need, right? If I buy this bicycle, I'm not going to need it if I don't need it for anything. If I go hiking, if I want to go mountain climbing, then yeah, I might need a mountain bike. I may not just need an actual bike, right? Because I know exactly what I'm looking for. If I'm buying shoes, I'm just going to buy flat shoes. I want to buy shoes that are studded, or I want to buy shoes that actually have, good grip, or that I feel comfortable because I'm going to be running for hours, right? So all these decisions that you have to make as a business is highly dependent on you, right? You have to think about these things. As a business, as an owner, as a structure, how do you take your business from point A to B? And if you can do that easily, you're in a great space. You're in a great place and you can definitely do a lot more. So we have about 22 more minutes till we get to the top of the hour and then we're going to close out the room. So if you have any questions, please feel free to put it in the chat or raise your hand and we'll definitely love to have you here and answer your question. Teresa, thank you for joining this morning. Good morning. How are you? Happy Friday. And we'd love to pass the mic on to you. You have a question or contribution?
Yes, hi. My name is Teresa Lorraine Scott, and I've been listening to your conversation. It's been very, very awesome. I sell different products, and I was just wondering how can I what can I do to get like to get the people to see like what I do. Sometimes I'm afraid because I've been afraid for a long time. I'm 66, but I feel like at this age I have to push like who I am out in the thing. When you was talking about the the astrophotography, it's like I'm always putting people contents out, but I don't always put my content in. So I was just trying to figure out like how can I get my content out about the different things that I do, as well as be able to like when you said about the guy Carlos who gave you the review. That's one of the things that I look at all the time is reviews because I want to know what people think about. But I never thought about looking for a particular person. So you just gave some really powerful. All of y'all said some powerful things, and this gentleman was talking about how he started here a year ago, and now he's like really like just being blessed. And I like your name, Favor. Also, I believe that I do have the favor upon my life, but I just need to know how to get past the fear of what gifts I do have and how to, like launch myself as a person out in the community because I constantly share people product all the time, information and stuff like that. But I would love to see how I could do it, to do it as a living, like to have another income coming in because people see my name all the time about putting their content in, but um, just coming here with y'all just gave me the courage, even to come on your call. I normally would not do it, but this is the new mindset that I have. Like, show up, Teresa, and see what can happen to you. And that's all I have to say. I just want to say thank you for this information this morning. I really appreciate what all of y'all said, and I'm encouraged by it. I feel like it's never too late for a person to start, and so I'm complete for right now.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, show up, Teresa. Favor, I'm just going to jump in really, really quick here. I was where you're at, Teresa, and I'm close to 50 now, and I shifted my whole business, and it was the scariest thing. But and and then another thing you said, faith. Golly, man, yeah, faith starts It's right there where that's where you need to start, right? With faith, but and not be scared. God will take care of you and will protect you and guide you through this whole process, and you just have to believe you're going to be okay. But those are my 2 cents, and I'm sure Favor has more to tell you. But people like Favor, and I owe a lot to Favor. I mean, You taught me the ways of what I'm doing now, and I appreciate that. And you know, a lot of great mentorship, you know, and help, supporting help around you is will turn things around for you, Teresa. And you're just showing up, like you said, show up, Teresa. That's the big step right there. And I'll leave you with that. Thank you for sharing, Teresa. Love it.
Thank you.
Wow, Teresa, I'm happy that you came on the stage today, and I've given you a follow, and that's the beginning of a bold mindset, and just taking it on, and just showing up for the people who will show up for you. So I have two questions, and you could answer either or in whichever order. So the first one is, do you have a website? And the second one is, do you have an email list? And if you don't have either or, do you plan to? And if you have, how's that going?
I don't have a website yet. I have to figure out how to do that. I just mentally, hadn't been doing well, and so I didn't kind of forgot some stuff I used to know how to do. But I've never created a website. I had attempted to do one, I think, on Wix one time. It was a free website, but I never really followed through because, like I said, of fear and doubting myself. But I can't. Like I lost my child last year, and part of me, wanted to die, but it was like I can't die because I have so much gifts inside of me, and me just sitting up here laying in this bed is not going to get me. It's not going to get the gifts out into the world, and so I just been pushing past, the loss and just, showing up in places. Like even when I saw your thing and I was like, he's talking about SEOs. I know something about SEOs. Let me just come on, So it's like I had a different plan today. But I know about all these things you're talking about, but I've never done for myself. So I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to do a website or the email list. I know of those things, but I'm willing to learn and find out how to go about doing it.
Okay, I will send you a message after this, Teresa, and we can get that taken care of. And I have one question to ask, one more question, because you talked about products as well. What products do you sell, or what products are you uh pushing as far as what you want people to know you for and know you by?
Well, I have a product that I use called Marmito, and it's really been helping me physically and mentally, like flourish. It's actually a product that heals your mitochondria in your body, which is like your battery of your body. So it causes your body start healing itself, and so I've been using the product since May. Since May, and we have like a lot of testimonies of people how well that they're doing, but I just feel like it could be more than what I'm doing. I like the testimony stuff like that, but I do feel that I want to be able to, like create my own um group. Like we have a group called Chinese Angels. So I like to create a group we could build up, the people because the people that's been using the products they have been doing really well physically and mentally. Like I was had a really bad virus, and so I just started increasing my it's called Rejuvenate, and I was taking it by mouth, and since I've been taking it, I just started feeling better, But at first, I wasn't doing it, and I had misplaced my product in the house. I was very sick. But that's not to make a long story short. Momide was a product, and the product, has really done a lot of work to people. But I think people are afraid. People have been sick and they've been afraid. But I know I'm doing better. I've lost weight. My skin is like I had a really bad skin issue. My skin is lighter. I feel better physically from taking the product. So I just wanted to be able, to create a way for people to get the product out because it's changing my life and I want like other people's life to be changed.
This is good. Could you spell that for me,
Yes, it's
please?
spelled More Mito Mito. Like I have a website where people I have a like a website where people can go look on under my website and just see what the product is. So it's free to sign up. It's nothing that people have to pay. But I want people to read about the product, and it's an all natural product. We also have a pet product that for people who have pets. Like there's people who have pets there who have like a pet a breeder, like they're using the product. So we have people all over the world that are using the product. It's just that I just wanted to be able, to figure out how to get the product out there, but also just encourage people along with it. Like, cause like the other thing I want to do is I'm an encourager, so I want to be able to encourage people, no matter what age that you are. Like you could like don't allow your age or what you've been through to stop you from progressing. And so I also have like books and stuff that I need to write. But even if I just start like a like a um like some kind of way like to get encouragement out to people, like not to give up, because I've been through some hell, and I want people to know it doesn't matter what you've been through, that you could start over. And so I want to, like I have a business that I had started, but I got to get rid of done called the Rise of the Unknown Heroes. And so I'm actually the first customer, the first I call myself the customer of the Rise of the Unknown Heroes, because what I want to do is expose people, unknown heroes around the world that people don't know about. So that's the other thing too that I have also as the name of my company.
Okay. Is this in South Carolina in Greenville?
No. Mm-mm.
Okay, I'm looking at the wrong one because I typed in more middle and
Oh
I'm
yes, yes,
seeing.
yes, yes. I'm sorry. Yes, that's it. Yes, that's the company. Yes, yes, sir. You're right. I got myself
Okay,
mixed. Yeah,
no
yeah,
worries. Okay, so
yeah.
from what I'm seeing, like you said, this company themselves, they're not doing justice to this product because I feel like just by looking at their website alone, I'm gonna check their sitemap real quick because from what I'm seeing from the front end, they are they are showing the product, they are highlighting the product, but they're not explaining the product like you are. And yeah, I just did their sitemap. They have a 404 server error, so that I already knew this was gonna happen. So by looking at this for you, if you're the brand ambassador or if you really pushing this product and you want people to know about it and you're making your commissions, you're making affiliations as well, podcast would be a great middle of funnel for you because it's easy access, it's low effort but high impact, high dwell time if people are connecting with you in real time over time. And there are ways to structure that so you can actually get a website, have an email list to support it, and actually have details. Because if I type in more middle, I want to see episodes like the stories you've talked about, have them in
Right.
different episodes packets. So I'm seeing so much that we can do just by telling more people about this product. And then because of the categories and the affinities that you're going to be associating with this, then we can now handle that, middle of funnel strategy by making sure that your business website has responsive systems. They don't have even a blog at all on their website. So these are things that if you're able to do for them, you never know. They might get Google alerts and then they reach out to you and then you strike a partnership deal that's bigger than what you're doing. So there's so many ways to, punch this bag, if I can say it like that, but we can definitely get to the top of that search by being very intentional with the contextual formatting that will create. So I will reach out to you, Teresa, so that we can talk more about it. But this is really good. Thanks for bringing that up.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you, brother, and everyone else that's here.
You're welcome anytime. That was really good. We got 10 more minutes to go before we wrap this up. We've been here since 8:45 a.m. Eastern, and I'm so glad that we've been able to have a conversation like this today. Brian, what's going on? Happy Friday. We'd love to hear from you.
What's up? Happy Friday. So you've been here for a while and I haven't not known about this? You have to refresh me and probably everybody else here when you have rooms so we can engage. Tell me when your rooms are. What's your schedule?
I usually have the rooms in the morning like this. So most times, if I'm doing a daily room, it will be around this time in the morning, anywhere between 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. Eastern.
Is that every day?
It's been happening every day, and
Wow.
if it does, yeah, I've been doing like if you look at the replays in this room, in this house, they've been so much. We're literally closing in on 350,000 members. I'm predicting by Monday we'll hit that score.
Sweet. Well, I'm too busy marketing, all day long because, just Fortune 500 companies, and I'm not able to listen in. But I think next week I'm going to start listening in more because this is my jam, you know?
I love it. I love it. And yeah, I met Brian too in person. He's an amazing guy. You guys, please follow Brian. He's a wealth of knowledge. He's not saying much, but yeah, he's a powerhouse. So thanks for being here, Brian. What? Let me ask you this before we wrap this up in 9 minutes. What would you tell people who are thinking about this funnel? Because when people hear funnels, they cringe. They think of click funnels. They think of all types of things. But how do you define a funnel to somebody who is just trying to start?
Oh, you got to have it. You have to have a funnel because it's just important. I mean, I don't work without funnels. So, it sounds scary. It sounds shady. I know a lot of my clients are like, oh my God, a funnel. So I think we as marketers should rename it so we get out of that, that feeling that it's shady. But you got to have one, right up from the top, right till the end. You got to nurture your customers that come in, and it's super important with lead generation. So sorry I came in late. I came in. I'm only catching 15 minutes of this entire room. So that's all I have to say about funnels. I could probably say more if I knew what you were talking about, but super, 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 super important. I cannot stress how important a funnel is for lead generation. And as a matter of fact, right now I'm working with a client where the form actually is kind of like a dynamic form, and it goes, if somebody selects something on a pull down menu, they go down a different funnel. And if they make a selection, if another customer comes in and makes a selection on another part of the pull down menu, they go down a different funnel. So, funnels can be complex, funnels can be easy, funnels can be simple, but most of all, they're very important when it comes to lead generation.
So true. So true. If you want to, get that, you can definitely get that through a funnel. And there's lead generation, there's demand generation. And if, the demand supply, the economies of scale, those are things that we know. And if we're creating consistency for people who want to learn more about what we do, then the more we show up with information that they actually like, the better it is. Because feedback, I always say, is the best currency for any business. Like on my LinkedIn, for example, I just crossed over 10,000 followers, and I'm looking at my analytics to see, okay, what are people really here for? What are people really looking for? To my surprise, they're not even there. They're not even following me for SEO. Guess what they're following me for? Advertising services. So what am I doing now? Digital billboards. I'm showing people how to use billboards better, how they can save money, be more hyper targeted with their solutions, use SEO to make sure that they get more data points, using Pinterest, using podcasts. These are all funnels. But how you structure them, like Brian said, is highly dependent on how you want to give them that information. So if people want to connect with you, you have to show them a way. Like if people are not gonna guess, I can't read your mind. You can't read mine, but if we talk, we converse, then I can actually predict what you could say based on what you've already given me. So that prediction is big. Give nine, ask once. Don't ask nine times and give once, because someone's gonna unsubscribe eventually. And you don't want them to unsubscribe if you really want them around. So that middle of funnel is big. It's huge. I think that's why I've done this room for a little bit longer than I did yesterday, because I want this to really sink from different avenues, from different platforms, from different criterias. Because it's just a matter of time that the person who is reading your blog, reading your case study, reading your review, like I talked about with Carlos, reading your white paper, reading your, listening to your podcast too, right? Or even getting a product guide or an FAQ or a glossary, like we talked about earlier. Those are things that people will get to learn more about because you're nurturing them. You don't want to sell to them at the point of consideration, because if you're selling to them, it feels like you're forcing them to buy into your idea. Let them decide. Give them the information. It's like Shark Tank. You present your point, you give them your proposal, and then you let the investor decide whether they want to invest in your business or not. Not you telling them you must invest now. If not, you're going to lose this. They don't care. They want to help you. You came there for their help. So if you're showing up online to help people, what are the things that you're saying that will help them feel better about you when you show up for them? It's a you and them situation. It's not a you and you. Because if it was you, you and you, then it's not happening. So building that relationship is big, and that middle of funnel is huge. That's why podcasts are huge. Podcasts are huge for middle of funnel conversations. And what we're doing on Clubhouse right now, this is a real life example of middle of funnel strategy. This right here. Because we've talked about things, we've considered options, we've compared, we've asked questions, we're still thinking about what to do, we're going to apply it. None of us has made a decision yet, but we've considered a lot of things in this room. Now that consideration is going to turn into an action when people are now connecting with you as well. Justice says, serve, not sell, and eventually other people will feel obligated to want to buy and support you. Yeah, 100%. I think I said this some time back in one of the other rooms. I said I was giving so much information to people, and I do that with my podcast on purpose because I feel like it would just make you feel like you're stealing from me, right? Because I'm giving you so much that makes you feel like, wow, this is overload. Like, how can I give back? That feeling is unmatched because you're giving someone something that they didn't ask for or they were not even aware of. Now they're aware of it and they now know you as a provider. You know, this consumer and this producer. So which side of the fence are you on? If you're on the producer side, how are you producing content that people can actually connect with? There are three C's: content, connect, context, right? Those are three big C's that you have to understand. If you put those three in a triangle or in a Venn diagram, those three have to make sense. There has to be a connection. There has to be content that allows that connection to even happen. If I like your hair, if I like your face, if I like your cologne, if I like your shoes, that's content. Now the context is, oh, where did you get that? Oh, can you tell me more about this? Now we're getting more into connections because now we actually can connect. On LinkedIn, it says connections. It doesn't say friends. It says connections because you are connecting. There's a first degree connection, second degree connection, third degree connection. So yes, now they say you're 6 degrees away from separation from someone. You can also be doing the same thing for other people over time. So the bottom of the story, the bottom line of this story today is if you want to become a person of influence and help somebody out there become a better version of themselves by using a product that you provide as a solution, then you need to show up in the form and fashion that actually speaks volumes based on the keyword research that you applied. So when they're typing with the words they know, they're matching with the filters that you created so that they can actually connect with your web page. Search engines don't rank your websites. Search engines rank your web page. So when your web page is ranked, then you have page authority. That page authority is going to lead into something else. So make sure that you're able to do these things on a good note because that good note is a very, very important schedule for you. So I'm glad that we've been able to talk about this. This has been a great room. Thank you, Hidden, for all those gems. David, Brian, Teresa, Mark, thanks for being here the whole time. Miss Lely, Austin, Dahlia, Derek, Cindy, Morel, Justice, Bright, April, Maddie, Anderson, Ba, Romit, Ezekiel, and Paul. Thank you all so much for being here. I appreciate you all. And if you guys have any questions, please reach out to me, book a call, and we have something that we're offering for you. And if you want to take that offer, please click the link at the very top of the chat. You're going to see the description there. I don't want to say too much on it because I don't like selling is great, but I want you guys to get impact. So if you get that impact, you can get that impact from that page. So scroll all the way to the top of this actual room at the very, 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 very top, and you'll be able to see the link I'm referring to so you can get that started. So till then, God bless you all. Take care. And I'm gonna see you guys on Monday. We're gonna talk about top of funnel. See you guys bright and early.